especially if you don't have the right methods, kind of can fall by the wayside. A job is really your contribution to society, and then in turn society rewards you for that contribution. So you have to think about, okay, what can I bring to the table, and what skills do I need? So there are a couple of very important things that dictate the quality of the job and the amount of salary you can derive from the job. I would say that first and foremost is your skills, right? Like, what can you do? What are you good at? And for, I'll be honest, like in high school, there's not a lot of skills that high schoolers can offer. You don't know how to do accounting and things like that, but you have to build that over time. And that's what makes you a better contributor, is you're able to synthesize all those things and eventually get to a much higher level contribution level. So think about this. What are your skills? What do you want to develop? What do you want to get good at? Right? I don't know. Maybe you want to be. Some people want to be like a musician. Maybe you want to get really good at an instrument. But then, what does society pay musicians? Think about that as well. That's the other side of the coin. Next thing I talk about again is salary. Right? Salary is basically what people pay you to do. It's really determined by one big thing, which is supply and demand. Right? If you ask me why a Starbucks barista gets paid $12 an hour, whereas, I don't know, like an engineer might get paid like $50 an hour, what's the big difference? There aren't that many engineers, and what they do is really hard. It's very specialized. Whereas most people can go get a job as a barista at Starbucks. So you have to think about yourself, what kind of job do I want that is in demand, that I also like doing? But I think the in-demand portion is more important. So always be thinking about that. And then there's one other important thing which a lot of people take for granted, which I did not have that luxury. And that last thing is location. Does anybody know what picture of this, what this picture is right here? It's in the south, that's right. It's in the south. Somebody said Houston. That's right. You get a brownie point. I don't know. This is Houston, Texas. This is all pre-flooding, but this is where I started, essentially with working for ExxonMobil. And I'd never been that far down south before, and I'd never been in that big of a city before. It was like everything was changing. But being in a city and being in a place like Houston, I learned a lot of different things. The supply and demand dynamic is very different in Houston than it is in Boston. Do you know how much I was paying for rent in Houston for like 800 square foot apartment? I was paying $600 a month. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You're like, how is that even possible? But yeah, it was $600 a month, and that was a luxury apartment. I'm not kidding. It had its own like washer and dryer inside. I was just like, that's a jackpot. And now I'm back up in Cambridge, and like we live in like a tiny little 300 square foot studio without like a washer dryer, and we're paying like $1,700 a month. And I'm just like, how did that happen? And once you get used to that, it's very hard to downsize. But that's one important dynamic. The other important dynamic, not just cost, is jobs. Right? If you want to be in a particular profession, think about where you want to be. Right? And that's a big handle that you have in your career to actually amplify your chances of getting a job and amplify your chances of living a good life. I'm not saying you move to Houston. I mean, if you're in oil and gas, it's a great place to go. If you want to be in healthcare, Boston's the place to be. If you want to do tech, maybe it's going to be the West Coast. So thinking about those things and what location can do can make a very big difference in your life. All right? Don't be afraid to think about what the world brings you. And I'm not talking about just America, right? Because we're becoming global every day, right? You can pick up the phone, you can go on Facebook, whatever, and you can talk to somebody that's 10,000 miles away. We're in a society today between social media, globalization, and the internet that's never going to be the same, right? As far as I'm concerned, a person in Houston is as close to me as a person in Dubai, or a person in London, or a person in Addis Ababa, right? And things are going to be changing because of that. Okay, there's going to be an important takeaway on the next slide, which is we talked about getting the job, but the key here is you look at skills, right? This equation cannot be changed. I know you guys have heard a lot of the equations in algebra and all that, which I've completely forgotten, but your skills have to match your job. And nobody will give you a job unless you can demonstrate to them that you're capable, or you have something that shows that you have that ability, right? And there are many different ways to do it, right? So I'm going to talk about probably 7 different ways to do it, right? And you're probably going to be I thought there was only one way, which is to go to college or something like that, which that's not the case, right? So the first thing I want to mention is community colleges. And I'm going to work my way to traditional four-year colleges. But think just for 1 second here. Here's a statistic that I think is going to surprise you. Only a third of all Americans have a full four-year college degree or higher. That means the other 2/3 don't have a college degree. And it's not like they're all doing poorly. You see a lot in media that you need a college degree to be successful. That's not true. Don't think about it in terms of college degrees. Think in terms of skill sets, right? In fact, I would be willing to bet that within the next 15 years, a lot of colleges are going to go bankrupt. Why? Because colleges are physical institutions, whereas everything is moving online. So if you have physical buildings and people and chairs and everything, and somebody comes in online and gives the same education that's cheaper, well, these guys are going to go out of business, right? And that's not just me saying it. At Harvard Business School, a really famous professor just published an article that said, 15 years from now, half of college will go bankrupt because it's just too expensive. So I'm not saying don't go to college. I'm just saying think about the skills that you're going to build in order to go through college and what you're going to get in the end of it and how much it's going to cost you. Okay? Which is why I think community colleges are a great option because you can often get that entry-level education and then eventually transfer to a college, or you can get a degree or a skill that can work out really well. So some of the examples I've given here are dental hygienist and web designer, right? Dental hygienist, any of you been to the dentist lately? Who cleaned your teeth? Was it the dentist that cleaned your teeth? Somebody else cleaned your teeth, right? Like that's the dental hygienist. So there's like a layer between the dentist and you, and that's the hygienist, right? And that's an important job. Web designer, I'm assuming most people know what a web designer does, right? They build web pages and things like that. Like when you go to google.com, right? Somebody built that, right? So that's an example of a web designer. And a lot of jobs today are in IT. Okay? One important thing I want to mention, and I try to get the most up-to-date facts and figures. Community college, depending on how much time you spend and depending if you go private, it's really anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000 total cost. It's usually much less actually if it's in state. But just an idea, right? That's not that expensive in the grand scheme of things. If you take this kind of opportunity and you land a job that pays you $40,000, that's a good return, right? Like, I mean, does anybody want to take a guess? Like, what's the payback? Like, if you have $40,000 and you only spend $20,000, how many years do you need to pay it off? So if you make $40,000 a year, and you only put in $20,000, how fast did you pay it off? Somebody I heard half. Yeah, so it's half, right? Because 20 is only half of 40. So you could essentially, it's not 1-to-1 because there's going to be taxes and stuff like that. But it's a good way to think about payback, right? What fraction? Am I able to pay this off within a year, or is it going to take me a lot of time to pay it off? Okay. Another option, which I think a lot of people overlook, is starting their own business or being self-employed. I think a classic example is Uber. I'm not saying go drive Uber for the rest of your life, but there are many opportunities out there that allow you to basically take what you have and provide a service to the economy, right? When an Uber guy picks you up, he's offering his car and his driving ability to take you from place to place, and he gets a certain amount of money in exchange for that. That is self-employment. If you go open up your own coffee shop, right, you borrow $50,000, and you pay rent, and you build up a coffee shop, and you start serving coffee, and you start making money on it, that's a form of a business, right? Those are legitimate options, and I'm not saying that, again, start a business right now, because high school is the best time to start a business. It probably isn't. But it's something to think about in the future, right? What does it mean to be an entrepreneur? It's really about taking what you have and converting it so that it makes money by serving other people. It's a really great idea, and it's a great opportunity. A lot of opportunities there. Option 3 is very similar to community colleges. It's trade or vocational schools. And I mention this is because a lot of people today that do trades like electrician, mechanic, plumber, nuclear technician, a lot of those kind of options, they're very old. Like, you've heard of the baby boomers, right? They're all retired. There's going to be a huge skills gap there. So whenever there's a gap, it means demand goes up, the supply is down, right? And that means that there's going to be jobs, and there's going to be good salaries for them. And here's the punchline to this. Trade or vocational schools, I found a statistic that the average cost for the whole thing, it's only 2 years, is $33,000. It's usually much lower than if it's like, if you try to get in state, but you can get a very good job coming out of it, right? Like a lot of electricians, especially after a year or two, can make like 50 grand. And that's a lot, that's a very good payback. So that's something to think about, right? So option 4 is college. Like college is still a great option, provided you choose good majors. And why I say that is because college is very expensive. In case you guys haven't heard, like college has gone up 7% a year, every year for the past 30 years. It's insane. If you invested in college like a stock, it would have paid you out like an enormous amount of money. College tuition is very, very expensive. So it's very important to think about getting the best value. Public and state often gives you very good value because taxes subsidize your education. But it's very important also to pick the major going into college, right? A major that ultimately connects you to a good job afterward. If you go into a major that's like, I don't know, dog grooming 101, I don't know if that is a major, but let's say it is a major. How much do dog groomers make? And you need a college degree to become a dog groomer. You got to think about those things. I don't remember, I think one of my friends' wife is a dog groomer, and she makes like 10 bucks an hour, so it's like, it's not that much money, but she loves doing it, right? But she didn't need a degree to do that. So think about the implications of taking on 4 years of your life and a lot of years of, not years, but rather the cost of the education. Right, I've listed some majors up here that are actually very good. They pay you back very quickly, and they set you up for success in the long run. Engineering is a clear example, a lot of science fields. There's like different things you can do within research. There's even a lot of business lines, right? And also, let's be honest, if your goal is to become a more advanced degree holder, like if you want to become a doctor or a lawyer or like a high-paid consultant or all these other things,